What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Show, where I, Graham G.S. Matthews, break down all the original content you watch on the WWE Network and on Peacock. And today we're talking the May 22nd, 2021 edition of Talking Smack. So, of course, the first thing they bring up, Kayla Braxton and Paul Heyman, that is that WWE is hitting the road once again this July. I talked all about this in depth on my audio Smackdown review, which is also up right now here on the channel. Check that out, cheap plug. Heyman also brings up how he's not a morning person, and I think everyone watching this can probably relate to him in that regard. I don't know many people that are morning people, to be honest with you. I would love to know a percentage of people in the world that are morning people. I don't imagine it's the majority. At any rate, Kayla brings up how, Cesaro and Seth Rollins resumed their rivalry on Smackdown this week. Rollins attacking Cesaro on the show, and again at WrestleMania Backlash last Sunday, kind of getting in the way of Cesaro, getting another opportunity at Roman Reigns' Universal Championship. And Heyman doesn't really offer his insight on that. He doesn't really talk about anything but Roman Reigns, and how he has no dog in that Cesaro versus Rollins fight. The first guest they welcome on is Shinsuke Nakamura, who doesn't really speak much English at all here on this episode of Talking Smack. We know he can speak English, obviously. He doesn't speak a whole lot of English here, so his time on the show was relatively short. Everything he says is mostly in Japanese, so Heyman attempts to translate what he's saying. He claims that he knows what Nakamura is saying that Nakamura said about, his win over King Corbin earlier in the show, that he's been trending all week because of the photos and video he's been putting up on Instagram and Twitter with, himself wearing the King crown, or the makeshift King of the Ring crown, which is, I don't know, the whole King of the Ring shit to me is terrible. I really don't care about Nakamura and Corbin feuding over a King of the Ring crown, and hopefully it leads to the return of the King of the Ring tournament, which at this point I'm currently doubting. So we think he's talking about the win over Corbin. We're not exactly sure because, again, he doesn't really speak much English, if any English at all, here on Talking Smack, at least for this episode. He speaks some more Japanese when Kayla kind of talks about his win over Corbin and Rick Boogs being there, blah, blah, blah. I think it would have been cool to get Rick Boogs here on Talking Smack. Where's Rick Boogs? I want Rick Boogs here on Talking Smack. And then Heyman also asks him before Nakamura leaves, would King Nakamura, not the King of Strong Style, I don't think he said, and I'm pretty sure he said King Nakamura, would he ever face the tribal chief Roman Reigns? Nakamura says something. Again, we have no idea what he's saying because he's speaking in Japanese. I don't know what he's saying. I'm sure some of you might be able to speak Japanese. I can't. So I don't know what he said. Heyman pretends like he knows what he said, but obviously he probably doesn't. I don't know what Nakamura said. Hopefully he just put Roman Reigns on notice, and I've been saying this for a while now. I'm far from the only one, but Nakamura should be winning more fucking matches if we want to be able to take him seriously at some point as a threat to a guy like Roman Reigns. I mean, the fact they haven't done that match already after what they teased back in January, and it's currently May, is crazy to me, because I thought we would get it at Fastlane or Money in the Bank, or not Money in the Bank, but like the May pay-per-view that we just recently passed. Cesaro was great, don't get me wrong, but I still want Nakamura at some point too. Hopefully maybe at the July pay-per-view. Probably not at Hell in the Cell, I would have to imagine. But yeah, they quickly teased that. We'll see if it goes anywhere. I don't know if it will, but I like the tease anyway. The funny thing that I just remembered about Nakamura's promos here on Talking Smack and the fact that he spoke solely in Japanese, we literally just had him on the Renee Young podcast, on the Renee Paquette podcast, rather. And I didn't listen to it. I haven't seen any of the videos from it. I imagine he spoke English. I would have to assume. Again, his English isn't picture perfect, but I'm pretty sure he spoke English during that interview. So the fact that, we know he can speak English. He's spoken English here on SmackDown before. But anyway, I thought that was interesting. So the next person they welcome on is the Intercontinental Champion Apollo Crews, who boasts about winning his match on Friday, retaining his Intercontinental Championship in the Fatal 4-Way match against Big E and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And he's looking forward to fans seeing him live as a champion come the return of live events this summer in July. Kayla brings up the 1,000-pound elephant in the room, that being Aleister Black's return at the end of the Fatal 4-Way, asking him, did you know about it? Well, what are your thoughts on it? Did you know anything about it? What's your current affiliation with Aleister Black? And he says that he has no idea what Kayla is talking about. And that Kayla is disrespecting him because she brings up, well, if that was me, no disrespect, but if that was me, I would, feel like the win was tainted a little bit because someone helped me win the match. And he brings up a great point. You can't say no disrespect and then proceed to disrespect him. You know what I'm saying? They do this shit all the time. It's a classic interviewer thing. I'm sure I've done it before. Many other people have done it. But like, oh, sorry to bother you, but like, you're not that sorry if you're still doing it anyway. Or like, you can't say no offense, but if you're still just going to take offense at people. Like, it's just stupid, you know? But anyway, so I thought that was funny. He completely dodges the question. And Heyman tries to get down to business here and like, listen, Apollo, I respect you. I'm sure you respect me. We're not stupid. We saw Aleister Black out there. Surely you did as well. And he says he doesn't ever remember Aleister Black being out there. He doesn't remember anything except Big E attacking him. It just went black for him. And the next thing he knows, he hears his music playing, and he's still the Intercontinental Champion. Which is obviously bullshit, because when Big E got attacked by Aleister Black with the Black Mass, it was Big E, or it was Cruz rather, that was holding down Big E. He was holding his legs in place so he couldn't move, which is how Aleister was able to hit the Black Mass on Big E. So they're teasing that there's some sort of relationship there. I don't think there is. I don't really want there to be. I think Aleister can kind of be his own guy and not have to be affiliated with Apollo Crews. Maybe, because I was wondering in my SmackDown audio review, why would Aleister attack Big E? Like, there's literally no history there. Maybe he just wanted to make an impact in his return to SmackDown. I don't know. But maybe they can claim, kind of based off what they, mentioned here, not that they're friends, but maybe Aleister helped Apollo win because Apollo promised him, hey, if you help me win tonight, then, I can grant you a future shot at my Intercontinental Championship. So maybe Aleister comes, asking for a shot at the Intercontinental Championship. That would seem to make sense. I guess we'll see where they go with it, but Apollo Crews was very entertaining here. I thought it was awesome. And Heyman also mentioned, for the record, he goes, listen, I tried to reach Aleister Black myself over the last 6-7 months. I had plans for him, but he wouldn't pick up my calls. I just couldn't reach him. And then Apollo said, listen, I don't know how any of that has to do with me. It doesn't. But maybe his phone was just dead. Maybe his phone died or something, which I thought was hilarious. Apollo is really clicking in this current character. The accent is polarizing, and rightfully so. Everything else about the character, though, is just fantastic. I think the promos have improved a lot since he went heel. His in-ring work has been on point. He's just been very entertaining. And I think having the former Dabba-Kato, Babatunde, Commander Aziz, what have you, in his corner also helps add to that act, which is really cool. So, as we wind down here on Talking Smack, Kayla hypes up the Profits versus the Usos for the first time ever next week. The Usos versus the Street Profits. And when she attempts to ask Heyman about what his thoughts are on, the ongoing tension between Jimmy and Jay and how it relates back to Roman Reigns, Heyman does one of his classic tangents where he doesn't exactly answer the question. He just says that no one ever stands up to Roman Reigns. And he kind of looks at WrestleMania as an example where Roman Reigns took advantage of it being the showcase of immortals and scored the most decisive pin in WrestleMania history over Edge and Daniel Bryan. He calls Roman Reigns WWE's biggest attraction and wrestling's, or rather sports entertainment's, biggest attraction, which is true. I think that's 100% accurate. And he also says that he saw Bobby Lashley get pinned this past week on Raw by Kofi Kingston. And the only reason he knows that is because he saw the clip on his phone on YouTube, because he doesn't watch Raw, because it doesn't compare to SmackDown, largely because of Roman Reigns, which is also fucking true. Not that just that SmackDown's a better show, but I'm not sure how much better SmackDown would be better than Raw if Roman Reigns wasn't on SmackDown. It's a big part of the Blue Brand success. I do agree, though, there are other parts of the SmackDown that are very entertaining, but really it is the Roman Reigns show at the end of the day. And he also promises that Roman, regardless of who it is, will defend his championship, his Universal title, against anyone at Hell in a Cell. I still think it's going to be Jimmy Uso. I know they're doing the whole Jimmy and Jay reunite next week against the Profits. I see that breaking down. I'm just not sure what else you do. I guess you could do Roman and Cesaro again, but how does Rollins factor into that? Cesaro beating Rollins again in a number one contenders match, so to speak, en route to Roman at Hell in a Cell. We already saw that. He already beat Rollins to earn his first title opportunity at WrestleMania Backlash, and I really don't want to see a triple threat. We just saw those on Raw at WrestleMania Backlash. Not one, but two. One with the men, one with the women. We're getting a fucking triple threat next week at AEW, Double or Nothing. We don't get a lot of triple threats in AEW, so I don't really mind that. But it's just a lot of three-ways for top titles right now in WWE. I don't really want to see Roman, Rollins, and Cesaro, especially since I don't really want to see Reigns and Rollins interact in a ring until it comes time for Rollins to go back to being a babyface. So I still think it's going to be Roman and Jimmy Uso, probably not inside the cell. I don't know if I would do that. But that is still my guess at the end of the day. So a good episode of Talking Smack here. The Nakamura stuff was kind of blink and you missed it. Really nothing of note coming out of that interaction. Apollo was very entertaining. And a majority of the episode, because this episode went around like a half an hour, a majority of the episode was just Heyman and Kayla going back and forth. And typically, I don't really care for that type of stuff on like Raw Talk, for example, because they never really say anything of note. But these two have such great chemistry by this point. They play off each other so well, do Kayla and Paul, that I could watch this show and see them sitting there for half an hour just talking about whatever and not be bored. Like Heyman taking jabs at Kayla is great. Kayla holding her composure is very well done. She's kind of gotten her character, quote unquote. Whatever she's doing in her role, she's doing exceptionally well. And I really dig Talking Smack every Saturday, much like I dig, Smackdown most weeks on Fridays. So good stuff here from Talking Smack from May 22nd, 2021. Check it out right now on Peacock and on the WWE Network elsewhere. I don't know if it's on Peacock as of this video going up. I found it elsewhere, so I don't know. Like I found it on some random website, I believe. So it may not be on Peacock yet. If you're still looking for it, let me know. Maybe I can find you a link or something like that. But be sure to like this video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. Check out my SmackDown audio review that also went up here today on the channel. I would appreciate that as well. Have a great one, guys. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll catch your ass down the road.